Hello, and welcome to A Slice of Pie, the weekly newsish show that we do on this channel. This week, we had a Nintendo Direct, and that's going to be a chunk of what we actually talk about today. But first, let's kind of talk about game development. So, the game that we're working on for Let's Make a Game Live, here's a little bit of progress. We actually made the fighter body, both male and female, and they're right up on the screen right now. They look pretty good. I really like the art style and how it's developing. We still need to make a sort of body, an underbody, that can then be adjusted by the player to be different skin tones, different races, that kind of thing. But these are the actual bodies for the fighter characters, which is where we're going to kind of start. We're going to actually go live, not this upcoming Sunday, but the Sunday after that. And we'll make a game live again. Hopefully we'll have enough sprites that we can actually do something interesting this time. I'm hoping that we can create the pre-battle and like battle animations and all that stuff. And that would be exciting. And I have a lot to show you guys with that game. If you missed it, we actually did upload a video onto this channel called Fixing the Razer Blade. Now the Razer Blade Pro isn't really a bad laptop by any stretch of the imagination, but the options for configuring a Razer Blade Pro were a little lackluster, and we made a modification that actually greatly improves its usability as a recording device in our arsenal. Essentially, now we've got two PCs that can record plus a laptop, which is pretty awesome. So we'll be able to move that laptop around and actually record in different locations. Some of those locations are the ones that I showed you guys in that vlog where I talked about being able to record in various areas. But with that, that's pretty much all of the Pie news. Let's talk about that Direct, because holy cow, that Nintendo Direct. So for every other console manufacturer, we're in that mid-awkward, new generation's common phase, and they're kind of holding off on things so that they can have like a huge launch for the next console. For the Switch though, we're mid-generation, and oh boy does that show. Oh, this was great. So let's run down close to an order. Overwatch for the Switch. We knew it was coming, we saw the case. It's actually real. It is coming, and it's going to be out, I think, later this month. I'm probably going to buy it because I'm getting really sick of playing it on the PC. I might do a video explaining why that is, but essentially, yeah, I kind of want to beat up some people who are much less skilled at the game than I am. But still, Overwatch on Switch, I'm excited for it, and I love it. And it comes with an exclusive skin, so... Then they showed off more Luigi's Mansion, and I went from to okay, I like this, to okay, now it's a must buy. Essentially, the whole hotel premise was cool. The dark moony art style does fit better for Luigi's Mansion, but it still is kind of a turnoff because I am a fan of the original. But then they announced Boss Ghost, and I was like, okay, kind of winning me over. And now that I see it and the environments all look so unique and like detailed, I love it. There's even mini games in there, which I didn't expect. It actually seems like they're channeling the GameCube era of games more than the 3DS version, which is a good thing because the 3DS version, as much as it was a good game and it was fun to play, really wasn't as good as the original. Then we got our Smash characters. We got the dude from Fatal Fight. I like the Neo Geo stuff. I actually love Metal Slug, but I was never really a fighting game fan. The dude's recognizable to me, so it's cool that he's there. We also got the announcement that Sans from Undertale. It's a Mii costume, but still, it's Sans from Undertale is now in Smash Brothers, and that is a thing. And then the big bomb that actually made me make an audible noise when I was watching the Nintendo Direct, there's more DLC in development than what we know about. So we got one more fighter that's unrevealed, and it's going to be a third-party one. And then we got more DLC after that, and I'm like, too much Smash Brothers. There's going to be more Smash characters, and it's going to honestly be the most ambitious crossover. Like, it was a joke. It was a joke at first, you know, Avengers saying that they were the most ambitious crossover, and then Smash Brothers Hold My Beer. Absolutely amazing. I am so stoked for more Smash Brothers. Oh yeah, and then they ended it with, put my Switch right here just for this. Yeah, they ended it with this. Let's see if I can get that in focus. So Banjo-Kazooie actually launched, yeah, it sounds my Switch. Banjo-Kazooie actually launched immediately after the Direct, which is, honestly, the Smash Bros stuff, it makes my heart pound. It's a good thing. Honestly, the Smash Brothers stuff was amazing, and I am so excited to actually see all of it. All right, and then something that I didn't really expect, we actually got 2 ports, and they were specifically the Shin Megami Tensei Fire Emblem crossover, which was like Tokyo Mirage Sessions Sharp FE. I'm pretty sure I just said that name right. that one is rather odd, but was a good game. I remember my sister loving it. She's a huge Fire Emblem fan. So, yeah, it's cool that it's coming. I might actually play it now that it's on the Switch. But more importantly, they're remastering the original Xenoblade, and it looks phenomenal. Like, it really does look good. It didn't look as impressive in the trailer with the stream, but afterwards, like doing a side-by-side comparison, it's like, oh my god. And then I immediately picked up on it, and I think many other Xenoblade fans actually did as well. The end of the video feed for that was actually cut content. And I was like, oh my god, I can't believe they're actually doing it. That cut content, I believe, actually is like late game, so the late game will actually kind of get fleshed out a little bit more. I'm excited. I love Xenoblade. I think I've made it abundantly clear from the fact that I have copies of Xenoblade on the shelf. I think I actually have 2 Xenoblade games right there on that shelf. Getting a 3rd one? Heck yeah. So, and this is going to be like the 3rd time I bought Xenoblade Chronicles, but still, Xenoblade, awesome game. And I can't wait to play it on my Switch because personally, I've struggled to actually complete that one due to the platforms it's been on. So, like, playing on my 3DS was not the optimal way to play it. And I do want to actually wrap up with a couple of, like, minor things from the Direct and then after the Direct and even before the Direct. Pokemon. So, the game actually looks amazing. Graphically, it has definitely seen the polish that it needed to see before the end of the year. Animation-wise, it looks so alive. We've never seen a Pokemon game look like this. Ever. And it honestly feels like the next generation Pokemon game we were waiting for. Now, does that take away from the fact that the National Dex is missing? No. But what it does do is it does show that Game Freak was telling us the truth about the animations. Because it looks like, from what I can tell, all Pokemon have a walking animation, an interacting animation, various interacting animations, because you can play with them at a camp, overworld animations, battle animations, eating animations. There's a list of animations that I'm sure like goes on like this for Pokemon. And however many they put in, I've seen like every generation represented, I think. All in all, the Pokemon look cute, they look good, and although we're not getting all of them, I'm okay with it. The game looks better than any of the other ones, and it excites me. That actually has me fairly excited. So, Pokemon Switch is a thing, and it is going to be great. And for all of you guys who were hating on them, please remember, game development is a process. In fact, actually, if you've watched this channel, you've seen how we go from like really, really bad looking things and we slowly progress out of it. That's how games are made. They kind of get thrown together sloppily, tested, and then improved upon. So I knew this going in. which is probably why I never got disappointed by the floating trees. But trust me when I say this, those trees most likely are not going to be floating in the final release. And the game itself is definitely interesting. Lots of new features. I don't know how I missed it, but the Corgi Pokemon, like, hell yeah. Like, Corgis and Pokemon, I want a plush of it. So, let's actually digress a little bit to one last story that I don't know how I missed. I'm sure you guys know about the game Bulletstorm. It recently got re-released, and to a bit of praise because, well, as a game, it was kind of underrated. But the Switch edition allows you to play as Duke Nukem through the whole game. I was like, what? Why? And yes. Yes. In fact, actually, a lot of N64 shooters are getting some love because also in the Direct, Doom 64. Forgot about that one for a moment. Oh, it's not even on the script. I also forgot about all of the Super Nintendo games that you can now play if you have the online access. So there's just so much in this Direct, and then the Duke Nukem thing was outside of the Direct, but still, so much. And then there were all the other games that I don't have time to talk about because this video is already running long. That there's just so much. So much game news. Too much game news. Too much time. And then I do really want to just really quickly touch on this before we go into tech news, because I know this video is getting long. So Astral Chain is actually really good. People have been reviewing it quite well. I'm waiting a little bit because I do this thing with my Nintendo Switch where I only put $20 into it every paycheck. It's so that I don't spend all of my money on games. I end up just spending a lot of my money on games. No. But I only put like $20 into a paycheck. That way, when it comes time to actually pick out a game, I'm actually more cautious about doing it instead of just throwing money at it like my Steam library. Mainly because I need to control myself. I digress. The game is another good Platinum Games game, and I think it's exclusive to the Switch. So yeah, if you're into that style of game, pick it up. So essentially, the Switch is now your RPG house, your action-adventure RPG house, your shooter multiplayer house. I mean, what doesn't it have? Really nothing. Oh yeah, it just doesn't have EA because EA doesn't want to support it. And you know what? I'm okay with that. Let's go into the tech news. All right, for tech news, we've had a pretty slow tech week, so it kind of works out. The game news can counteract that. But here's a story that not a lot of people are reporting on, but it's flippin' amazing, and I love it. So when AMD created the Navi GPUs, the RX 50 Navi GPUs, when AMD created the Navi GPUs, they created a very unique shroud design that had a dent in it. It was weird. It was unique. Some people loved it, some people hated it. And personally, I was in the boat of, I really don't like it. But even so, if I had a Navi GPU and I were water cooling it, I would want this water block. This water block by EK has the dent. It has the entire detail of the original shroud, and I would actually buy this one for the lulz. That's the only reason I would buy it, to be completely honest. I love this thing's existence. I would want it, but I don't have a Navi GPU, and I'm actually kind of waiting until they create the Navis that are capable of taking on like the 2080s. Once that happens, then yeah, I'll probably drop one of those in there. Especially because I love the fact that I can just put a water block on it and make it single slot. It looks so nice. So yeah, I digress. This thing is awesome. Its existence is awesome. EK, you are awesome for doing it. Speaking of AMD though, there was actually kind of two stories involving them. One, the lawsuit saying that they were being dishonest about how many cores were in the FX processor did actually go through. The civil suit does actually have it so that you are able to claim money. I technically am eligible because I've used 3 of them. So, yeah. But, yeah, that's pretty much it on it. Just, if you were involved in it, you just have to like send in a thing saying that, yes, I actually bought, and I think you have to show proof of purchase. For me, it's easy. My Amazon account actually has my proof of purchase for all 3 of them. So it's one of the reasons I actually like my Amazon account. I have like proof of purchase for like years and years and years and years. I don't have to save any receipts for anything. It's amazing. Also, in AMD woes, or well, it depends on when you reported it. If you reported this at the beginning of the week, you would have reported that AMD has some processors from the new 3000 line that are not capable of hitting the target specifications. It's roughly 5.6% of them that don't actually hit the target mark. That being said, it wasn't an issue with the processors, but rather an issue with the motherboard BIOS. So AMD's putting out a fix, and it's not a problem anymore. They're releasing the fix to the motherboard vendors, and the motherboard vendors are just releasing it as an update, and then you just put it in your motherboard and bam! If you're one of those 5.6% of people who bought Ryzen 3000 processors, you now have a fix for it. So AMD heard you, and they fixed it rather quickly. And then finally, we've only really got AMD stories for this week. It's weird. The others haven't really said anything. I mean, there was like an Intel 5-core processor that we could talk about, but that's mostly speculation based off of the fact that it's a weird core count. Like, it could just be a fake processor, which does happen. So I'm not really going to feed too far into that one. But for the first time ever, or not ever, but in a long time, AMD actually outsold NVIDIA in graphics cards. But these numbers are a little weird because the chart actually includes integrated graphics processing units, which puts NVIDIA at a disadvantage. When it comes to discrete graphics, they pretty much own the higher end market. I mean, there really is no competition. If you want the top of the line, you have to buy an RTX card. Plain and simple. But AMD has been chipping away at the bottom for so long that it's become cost effective to put AMD cards in over NVIDIA cards. You actually increase your performance significantly if you put a Navi card in over the RTX 2060 and I think 2070 respectively. So like, your cost to performance is much better with Navi than it is with the RTX cards. If they continue that trend, AMD could actually overtake NVIDIA in the enthusiast market, especially because, let's face it, all of us in the enthusiast market, we may like our fancy stuff, but we really do sometimes act pretty cheap. So if it's a difference of a couple frames, I'm sure there are a lot of people who will actually buy the AMD card if it's significantly cheaper than the NVIDIA part. But I digress. Essentially, what happened was the APU market, which has actually been doing really well for AMD, and the GPU market actually combined into a perfect storm, which allowed them to overtake them for a time. I'm sure it's going to equal back out, but there's only for a little while anyway. So with that, we're going to wrap up. This video really did go on long. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed watching this video, you can leave a like, comment, subscribe. I do this video once a week. And yeah, this week we actually got it out on Friday. But that's because I'm looking at my schedule and going, there's going to be no time this weekend. So thank you guys again. Wolfie.